I don't, I haven't seen her a lot either. She often just comes up in the evenings. Um, she'll walk around in the evenings. I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Stacy Young, launching her third year as the 16th president of Manchester University, a 1996 Manchester graduate. Oh, thanks for the reminder. Do I need to back up a little? Okay, you're always the one who reminds everybody. Okay, I'll start over. I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Stacy Young, launching her third year as Manchester University's 16th president. A 1996 Manchester graduate, President Young came home after serving most of her career in Michigan. She's described the opportunity to lead her alma mater and the institution that started her passion for higher education as a dream come true. President Young received her Bachelor of Science in Accounting from Manchester University and a master's degree in Business Administration from Bethel University. She earned a PhD in Leadership and with an emphasis on higher education administration at Andrews University. Her work in corporate America as an auditor and accountant enabled her to teach a variety of business and accounting courses throughout her career. Serving students in education for more than 25 years, President Young has worked in a variety of roles, including faculty, chairperson, dean, and president. She also serves as a peer reviewer for the Higher Learning Commission and has served on a variety of state and local boards. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you. Thanks, Jan. I got to spend, 10 days with Jan over the summer when we went to Scotland together. So it was nice to get to know her better. Well, thank you so much for everyone coming out tonight. It is fun. I always look forward to this, and it's always perfect timing because we just finished our board meeting last week, and so I just take that presentation and bring it here. I hope that's okay. So I added a few things for you that I thought you might want to know. So really just a state of the university, and happy to always take any questions that you might have. But it's a good time to be at Manchester University. It's a great time. For those of you who don't know, in addition to my daughter who just graduated with her MBA, in our first cohort of Master of Business Administration, she graduated in May. My son and my nephew, my twin sister's son, are both sophomores at Manchester, and they room together just like we did. So it's really, really special to be able to watch kind of them go through college together just like we did. So it's been very fun. Anyway, I thought I'd give you some demographic information, also some key area updates, some new endeavors that we've got going, some grant updates, and then some legislative updates that we're kind of monitoring all of the time. It's an interesting time to be in higher ed right now. I always say, you know, when you hear about colleges and universities on the national news every day, and it's not in a positive way, it's a fun time, a real fun time. So I thought I'd just kick it off with a few highlights from this fall. We did have our Camp Mac Day, and I have to tell you, getting to watch students, for some of them, they've never gotten to go on a kayak in the lake or whatever. They're giggling and laughing, and no one's on their phones, and they're just having fun. One of the people I work with said she saw some boys on the ship, you know, the ship there at Camp Mac. They were playing, and it's good to see students be students, honestly, and just have fun and not attached to these things all of the time. They were just having a great time. So my heart was full on Camp Mac Day this year. But our pharmacy students competed nationally and made it to the top 16 in a national competition. We had, thanks to Katie Gray Brown, I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Brown, or Dr. Gray Brown, she invited 700 high school students to campus a couple of weeks ago for the convo on the Holocaust survivor. And we took advantage of those 700 students and we gave them tours and free t-shirts. So we now have 700 walking billboards around the area. And we fed them. It was all hands on deck. I said it was a great problem to have, but I think a few people were stressed around campus having to deal with 700 students. I am proud of the fact that 100% of our December grads from our accelerated nursing program 100% graduated and passed. Our traditional students 100% passed. We had one in our second class, one student who didn't pass the first round, which brought our percentage down overall to 95% on that nursing board exam. So one student, the second time they took it, they passed. So all of our students who graduated from our nursing programs, which is really remarkable considering it's our first ones. So we're really proud of that. We just had our nutrigenomics accreditation visit. That went really well. And a couple weeks ago, we had 400 students, elementary school students on campus for Imagine My Future. This is where Wabash County, all of them come in and get to see what college is like. So, I mean, look at all those students who got to experience Manchester in the last month. So our team has been busy. This is our top enrollment from the top 5 states. So you can see we're real heavy from Indiana. And then followed by Michigan, Ohio, Florida, and California. We have some of our pharmacy and nursing students coming from California because there's long wait lists out there. And so they're coming here because they can get in and get done faster than staying out there and waiting on their wait list. So you can see about, obviously most of our students are here at the North Manchester location, and then the balance of them are at our Fort Wayne location. Some of those students in our nutrigenomics program, and about half of our pharmacy students are online. So that pharmacy online program fills up really fast. And I got to sit and talk to some of them because I thought, who would want to do this online? Because they have to come to campus every now and again to do some labs. And one of them was a student who lives like in out west in a really remote area. So it's impossible for her to go to school except for online. And another student, her husband's in the military, and she's like kind of following him around, and this is her way to go to school. So I thought that was good to hear why they're picking some of these ways to go to the university.
Could you ask a question?
Sure.
It seems like so many of the students are connected to Fort Wayne that it looks like if we didn't have that part of the university, Manchester University might be really hurting now.
Yeah, so the cost to run a traditional undergrad program is very expensive. So our Fort Wayne location helps lift up and subsidize the undergrad program. And I'll talk in a little bit about what else we're doing to help that so that we can continue to have those traditional 18 to 22-year-olds who live on campus. We have to do some other things to allow that to continue to happen. So it's a great question, Roger. I'm glad you asked it. I'll tell you a little more in a few minutes. Oftentimes people ask us about our faculty and staff, and this is just a snapshot because this can change, right? But about 20% of our faculty and staff are Manchester alum. So that's really, I think, really, really, really special. These are our top majors in our undergraduate area, and you can see exercise science is our largest, and that feeds into our Master of Athletic Training and our Doctor of Physical Therapy. That major does. But you can see business management, nursing, biochem, which is really pre-med, or pre-dentistry, any pre-vet, that's where the biochem students are at. Sports management, psychology, criminology, accounting, elementary education, if I count all of the concentrations in one, that's on our top 10, and then software engineering. So those are our top majors at Manchester. And then our graduate program, these are all of our graduate programs, but you can see pharmacy by far is the largest. Our second largest is that physical therapy, the Doctor of Physical Therapy. That's our newest program at Fort Wayne. And then our MBA program is kind of following at a close third there. And then you can see our Master of Athletic Training, pharmacogenomics, and nutrigenomics are also in there. So these are some of the things that we have been working on to raise money for, in addition to some of the things that are happening with the alumni office. You can see this is my husband and I. We were at a castle in Scotland over the summer together. But we are working on our baseball turf project. We're trying to get turf for the infield. It's $500,000 to do that. But if you've ever been at our baseball field in the spring when they play, because they start in February playing baseball, it's washed out a lot of the time. So we really need that turf so that they can extend their season a little bit. We just got the chapel roof. I hope everybody has seen it. It's all fresh and new. We're so excited. We did that alumni trip. We had a Manchester alumni, all the employees who worked there, we had a luncheon. It was so special. The least favorite part for me is they put pictures from the yearbook up. Not a good time for me in the 90s with my hair. Not a good time. So everybody saw that. And I don't know if everyone knows this, but the Church of the Brethren Conference next summer will be in Fort Wayne. I'm very excited about that. So I'm kind of breaking down all of our major areas. So from a marketing perspective, I hope you check out our new website. We worked on that for a year. And you'll see that it looks and feels a little different, but the main purpose of it is it's our front door to recruit students. So that's what the whole point of that website is, to help recruit students. We have you'll start to see we've hired a company out of Fort Wayne to help us really talk about some of our big initiatives. I'll tell you in a few minutes, but Manchester is on the map making national news for some of our exciting programs. So we want to shout the things that we're doing from the rooftop so everybody knows, and they're going to help us do that. We have a brand new strategic enrollment and marketing plan that ties all of our efforts together and kind of guides us over the next couple of years. We have a new enrollment partner, Liaison, and then we have a financial aid partner that helps us figure out how much we should charge and how much money we give students. And then we have a brand new Manchester Crest piece. I meant to bring one, and I walked out of my office without it today. But you'll have to check it out on campus. That's what goes out to prospective students. I'm so mad at myself. I'll have to get some for you. They're really fun to look at. By the way, some of these pictures are from our campus service days. This is something that I started when I first came. We do not have the staff in our custodial or maintenance or facilities team. We cannot find enough people to work for us in those areas. So twice a year, we shut down campus and all of us volunteer to do whatever's needed. And Alexis Young is our assistant VP of facilities, and she puts out a list, and we all have to sign up for something. She's planting flowers or pulling weeds or something. But we paint curbs, we paint and scrape the light poles all over campus. I have personally twice scrubbed air conditioners for like 5 or 8 hours or something. You know, the vents and the air conditioners with a toothbrush. That was my job. And it's dirty. It's not a fun job. It's dirty. But we do everything. We take down, we pull a lot of weeds, but it's to get campus ready for the summer. And then we do a second service day right before students move back in, because we have a huge camp that comes and we cannot flip our dorms fast enough to get ready for the students. So we do a big spruce up day right before students move back in. And that one's really focused on cleaning the dorm rooms and all, you know, cleaning out spider webs or whatever in the hallways. But whatever needs done, we're doing, and we help our facilities team. The last one we did, we had over 1,000 hours in one day, volunteer hours. It's very exciting. Oops, I just realized. Graduate enrollment was up 38%. Part of this is we have our great undergrads that are going into our Fort Wayne graduate programs. When I first started, we had 6 students doing that, and now we have a bunch of students. So we start talking to undergrad students the first day they come onto campus. So our pharmacy faculty come from Fort Wayne, all of the faculty come from Fort Wayne and introduce themselves to our freshmen and their families. So you start to get to know your pharmacy faculty from the first day you're on campus. So by the time they transfer over there, it's no big deal. So we're really proud of this. So 100%, 150% growth just in those students. Our undergraduate enrollment, I don't know if you remember, last year we were up almost 20%. So it was really good. This year we came in kind of flat, just shy of what we wanted to for budget. I don't know why, but this year so far, we're up 30% in campus visitors. Don't understand it, but I'll take it. Feels like just lots of students on campus. And one of the things that we know, and this is why I was so excited about those 700 high school students visiting us a couple weeks ago, we know 1 in every 3 students who visit stay and come to Manchester, which is pretty good. 30% of the students who visit end up coming. So we want more students to visit Manchester. Go ahead, Roger.
That thing of introducing the students to the whole wonders at Fort Wayne, is there anything on the other direction? There might be some people at Fort Wayne might be interested in some peace things, for example.
That's a very good point, and we're actually talking a little bit about that, breaking down a little bit so he asked, is there any way to get students from the Fort Wayne location to come back to the undergrad site? So most of them are graduate students. So our pharmacy students typically do our MBA program. So a lot of our pharmacy students in the summers, when they're not taking pharmacy classes, they're doing MBA classes so that they graduate with both degrees. So that is happening. But your idea about the PEACE program is a good one. One of the things we've been talking about is creating, it's called the micro-credential. That's kind of a new thing that people can add on to their degrees or just come in and get one thing. And one of the things we're looking at is to do a conflict resolution micro-credential. And we think teachers and nurses and doctors and anybody really, people in human resource management, that could help them in their day job. And so that's one of the things we're working on, is to kind of like, especially with a program that's so strong like our PEACE program. So I'm glad, that's a great question. You're spoiling the rest of the presentation, Roger. These are great ideas. We're gonna have to put you on staff soon. We also, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Questa. It's a scholarship program. It covers 11 counties in this region. In the Fort Wayne area, I should have had a map up here, but it's a loan forgiveness program and it's a work back program. So you can get a loan, but then it's a forgivable loan if you stay and work in those 11 counties. So the idea is to keep people in this area. So we have a partnership with them for our accelerated nursing students that they can come in and basically go to school for free between Parkview dollars, the Cuesta dollars, and then the Workback program. So when you go to work at Parkview then, they will pay you tuition reimbursement every month to pay off your loans. It's a great deal. So we're going to start doing more partnerships, and I'll explain in a little bit why we're doing that because of some federal legislation that's coming down. But we're also in talks with IU Health, which is, they're building a new hospital, and I do not know my directions in Fort Wayne, but they're building a new hospital in Fort Wayne, and Lutheran Health would like to partner and do the same thing because it's a direct pipeline for our nursing students. So any high demand fields, they're really wanting to partner with us because they want all the students we can give them. They're so short-staffed right now. So we are really proud about this, but student retention is a really hard number to move up and down, or to move up. It's easy to go down, to move up. But we came up 4 percentage points, which I've worked much of my career to move 1 percentage point. So the fact that we moved 4 is remarkable in 1 year. We also have done some rearranging around campus. So if you've ever visited my office in the library, I moved up to the Switzer Center, but we moved all of our student success, our academic support over to the library. So now it's a learning hub where all of our students can get help. And so if you've been to the library the last couple of years, it was getting a little quiet there. But now there's a lot of activity, but we want all students to go there for help. So we're excited about that change. And I'll talk about how we save some money by doing this too in a few minutes. Here it is. So in our academic area, if you haven't heard, we did some rebalancing, I would say. So we moved around, we had one kind of liberal arts dean that had a huge area of campus, and then our College of Business dean just had College of Business. So we rebalanced the departments, and then we split up some of the departments at the Fort Wayne location. Our goal is that the deans then can be more strategic and get out and help us recruit students. And so we've done that. We also have been really focusing on low enrollment courses because low enrollment courses cost us a lot of money. And I know if you're a student, all of my classes were small at Manchester. I think when I was an accounting major, Professor Gilbert, there were 22 of us in all of our classes together. That's not low enrolled for us. That's a good number for us. But we've had classes that were running with 4 and 5 students to 1 faculty member, and that costs us money. So we know we can never totally get away from low enrolled classes, but we can't run all of our classes that way because it costs too much. So we have, I'm really proud of this. We decreased our low enrolled courses by 36% in undergrad and 41% in our graduate programs this year. So we still have our student to faculty ratio still something like 15 or 16 to 1. We just don't want those classes under 10. Those are the ones that are really, we don't break even, they cost us a lot of money. A lot of our programs, a lot of our health science programs are accredited programs, so those we have to have accreditation for. So we have 6 programs and through accreditation right now, which is a ton of work. And we're also preparing for our Higher Learning Commission visit in 2027, which I know feels like a long time away, but it will come before we know it. So this is what we're making national news for. The Higher Learning Commission allows us in Indiana now, or anyone who is accredited by them, to do reduced credit bachelor's degrees. So we have submitted and got approved 2 already, the first in the state of Indiana. Very few schools across the country have done this. And we have submitted 2 more, and then we have to submit them onesie-twosies to the HLC. They are only letting us submit 1 or 2 at a time. So we've been submitting those, and the idea behind it is, so if you think about, how many alums do we have in the room? Okay, quite a few. And for those of us who maybe went to another school, we all had our gen ed core. Remember math, science, speech class, English class? Okay, that all stays the same for everybody. The next 6, so that's about 30 credits for us. The next 60 credits are your major. So for me, it was accounting. Those would be my accounting classes. The last 30 credits are really electives that you take. And For my son and my nephew who are students, they're going to do all 4 years. They're going to do 120 credits. But for maybe a single mom, an adult coming back to school, who it's a luxury for them to take electives, they may want to come in and get those 90 credits done and graduate. Maybe they're just getting their piece of paper to match the work that they've done. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Manchester hasn't really been in the adult market before. We are now. We're getting into the adult market because, and I'll show you in a few seconds, a graph that shows all of the students out there that we could be touching, but we can't do that right now if they all have to come to North Manchester to take their classes. So I'll show you what we're going to be up to in a few minutes. But I'm really proud of this because we are the first school in Indiana. It's making national attention. Our legislatures like it because we can get students in and out faster. So again, not for every student, and our target market really is those adult students who want to return. We just got done. We are revamping our academic calendar. And I know this is, don't shoot the messenger. We're moving Jan term to May, but we're going to keep doing our medical practicum in January. There's a couple trips that we'll still be able to run, but we're going to start students a little bit sooner in January. We're going to start students a little bit sooner in August so that we can, first of all, get away from Labor Day. We've been having classes on Labor Day. It's not popular, not a popular thing. And then we're going to start students a little sooner so that we can graduate students a little sooner. So what's happening is our health science class, our students have to wait to take their boards until much later. Our graduating students who are just graduating in whatever degree, they are a month behind of their peers. So they're at a disadvantage to start their jobs. Our students who do not want to take out loans at all, they're very, they do not want to take out loans. What's happening is they lose a month of summer to make money. So I did some math to check on my son and see how much money he lost this summer. He lost about a third of his income. So he made about $5,000. He could have made $7,500. So what we're doing is we're going to just adjust that so that our students have more opportunities. And again, I know we don't want you to think we're getting rid of Jan term. We still want students to travel, and some of our trips already have been going in May. But now we'll have more trips going in May and a select group of students going in. It's going to be right after Christmas to about the second or third week in January. So some of that won't change too much. It won't look super different, but like that medical practicum really needs to go in January because of the weather in Guatemala. So we'll still fit that in. By the way, we have a bunch of non-credit and lifelong learning available that all of you could take on our website, and I can make sure you get that information. I already mentioned some of our other partnerships, but we have a partnership. We're working on some things with Goshen College. We already have partnerships with Ivy Tech. We have a partnership with Bethany Seminary already. Indiana Tech came to us and said they want to use our pharmacy classes, but they don't want to start a pharmacy program, so we're sharing, and it might allow us to do an engineering program with them, which we're really excited about. We have Sarah Schneer. It's a school in Brooklyn, New York. Their students are taking our online nutrigenomics classes. And then St. Louis University is using our pharmacogenomics program to tie with their pharmacy program. So the new name of the game with all of us in higher ed is to share resources, and we all don't have to do specialty things. We can share those specialty things, so we all don't have to do the same things. So we're working on that. And then we have a partner who's working on legislative matters with us, the Keller, it's called Keller Partners and Company, LLC. But they're also helping us find grants. So the first month, they helped us find 3 grants that we have been submitting over the last couple of weeks. So we're really excited about that. That will help us, like the Student Success Grant will help us renovate part of the library, perhaps. We're waiting. We hope we get that. We hope we get that grant. So I mentioned the demographics issue. So you can see up here, all of those long yellow lines on the left are 18 to 22-year-olds, and it takes a big drop off. Well, what we know is there's a lot of people running around without a college degree that are over the age of 23, 24, 25 years old, and there's a lot of people running around with credits in their pocket but never finished. That group, this big area here, is what we're going to tackle. And we're calling it, we haven't settled on the name yet, but it's either going to be Manchester Online or Manchester Everywhere. Does anybody have a vote? We have marketing working on this for us because I'm not a creative person. Yes, yes. Can you imagine if we can have more graduates out there in the world? I think it's terrific. So it's to diversify. We are anticipating significant growth. There's two parts to it. We have to build the academic classes, but we also have to build the back office for this. If you're going to go online, you want immediate response. You want to know you're accepted, your financial aid package, and your transcripts are reviewed within like minutes. Right now, it takes us a couple weeks. So we are going to fix that. We're going to hire an executive director, and we have a partner called CORE. They're helping us get this launched. I call CORE our training wheels right now. They're going to help us do the things we don't know how to do well, and then we hope we can take those off in a couple of years and not use them anymore. So we're hoping a soft launch with business, accounting, and we're going to move our MBA under this umbrella in February or March. We're moving real fast, so I am very excited about this. I think I've talked to you all about our experiential learning that we've been working on. So this is an effort to get students earning while they learn and out in the community. They work for nonprofits, maybe other businesses, but our goal is that they graduate with a Manchester University diploma and a really solid resume at the same time. So they are going to leap ahead of their peers out there and probably earn more money. Again, we know our students do not want to take out loans, so we're trying to help them earn while they learn. Let me tell you one of my favorite examples of this. As most of you probably know, we have a substitute teacher shortage across America right now. Our faculty changed their curriculum so that the classes are Monday, Wednesday, Friday in our education department, and we have students going out on Tuesdays and Thursdays to sub. The students are earning money, they're getting classroom experience, and we're filling a community need, which makes me real happy. Isn't that terrific? One of our students, my assistant's daughter, is going into Wabash. She did a whole semester abroad in Spain, and they needed a Spanish teacher, so she does that a couple of days a week. She's filling a huge gap for Wabash Community Schools. I love this. Love, love, love it. So it's terrific. We talked to the Wabash Community Foundation today because we want even more students out there. And another thing I would like to do is our nonprofits in the area that maybe can't afford to pay a student, that we have dollars either through the foundation or through our endowment that we can help pay those students. So, but my goal, every student earns about $7,200 in a year, and that's about the gap of a typical Manchester student. So between that, being able to earn more money in the summer, we should be able to help our students a lot be able to pay for college. And what a gift we will give them if they do not graduate with debt. That is a gift to all of our students. And my big, audacious goal is that no students will graduate with debt from Manchester. That is my very big goal. So in my lifetime at Manchester, that's what I'm going to do. I keep saying that if I put it in the universe, it'll just come true. So I mentioned that we did some office relocation. So what we did, we had some areas where we had people who had left, and we started realizing that this department over here needed a front desk person, and this department over here needed a front desk person. So we combined areas, and instead of having to hire 2 front desk people, we're saving money. We're hiring a student to cover the front desk, which gives the experiential learning, and we're going to save money. So in all of our office moves, we're saving about $200,000 just by moving offices around campus. It's terrific. We're also cross-training people, so my hope is that as other people, if other people leave, we're able to not have to rehire because we're cross-training areas. I did this at my old school, and it worked really beautifully. And here's the thing that I just talked about this morning with our local pastor friends. One of my desire since I've come to Manchester. We had lost our campus pastor, but our budget just cannot take it right now. But our local pastors have stepped up and said that they will start providing chapel service for our students for free. I am tickled about this, just tickled. So I am very excited. Our board, this was part of the board presentation, so I left it on here just to tell all of you. I thought some of you might be interested. In the world that we live in, our board was very concerned and wanted to make sure that we had security locked down for campus. And I just wanted all of you to know we do tabletop exercises. We do practice rounds about twice a year. We do it for both locations. And we actually had to do a lockdown. Remember last year when we had, I think you all locked down too here. Yes. But we got to taste what that looked like. And then after an incident like that, we go and talk about what went right and what went wrong. By the way, I don't know if this happened to all of you. The bad thing for us on that event is all of our students hadn't eaten yet. And because it happened right at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, so our students were not happy. We were getting text messages because I give students my cell phone number. Are we going to get to eat tonight? We made sure everybody ate, but that was our biggest issue that day, is that we had students who hadn't eaten. It was about 8 o'clock until we could get everybody unlocked and things opened up for them. If anybody has seen, these are the houses on College Avenue across from the old admin building across from Hellman. These are the new townhouses. There will be 24 units in total. This, like on the right side there, that's 2 units together. So each kind of structure is 2 units. And we will sell these, the first people who will have dibs at these will be faculty and staff. And then I think we're opening up to Manchester Community Schools, but then it will open up to other people. And it's a really good deal. The goal is to keep more people living and working in the community. So we had kind of 4 major projects with, this was the Lilly Endowment College Community Collaboration Grant. So let's see if I have this right. College Row's already started. These first few units will be done in the springtime. Winger, we are about $1.8 million away from starting that project. We need to raise a little bit more money. Winger will hold our music, our arts program, our digital media arts program, and our esports. So Winger will be, I'm really excited about that. Courtier's already gotten new bathrooms, and it's gotten a new fire curtain, but we'll get new seats in Courtier as well. And then the Manchester Mile, that's the yellow brick road between the campus and downtown. I believe that starts this spring. Now, I will also mention all of these projects, while they're all part of the grant and our office has to report to Lilly Endowment about how we're doing, each of these projects has a different owner. So there's a corporation that's a nonprofit corporation, Wabash County Housing Development or something, that's doing these houses. The Manchester Mile is like Adam Penrod from the city, and so is Eel River Commons. That's Adam's project with the city. And then the culture facilities, Winger and Courtier, are ours. So, and then Eel River Commons, that's going to be the amphitheater downtown that we can all go to and listen to concerts and things like that. And I think that's a year and a half away from starting. They had to get some other things done. So keep watching. It's going to make our community a even greater place to be, right? I'm a big person. We are moving real fast at Manchester, but we have a strategic plan that was started before I came, and we usually update the board on where we're at with that. We're about 73% of the way completed on all of our tasks. So just and that's about right because we're kind of in the middle there. And then, as I mentioned, this is, by the way, a bus. Does this look from, Jan, I think you're right there. Right there in the front. This is a bus, on the bus when we were in Scotland. You can see Megan Sarber in the middle aisle there. She's terrific. But we do have legislative challenges, like I mentioned, with things happening around the country. As I always tell people, it's not Manchester on their own. We're lucky enough to be with all of the other colleges and universities in the country. There's some new loan caps. So for graduate programs and undergraduate programs, there's loan caps, so you can't exceed that, which is a little scary. We believe the private loan market will get in, so you're limited, if you're in like our pharmacy program, you're limited to $50,000 a year and $200,000 over the course of your years in pharmacy. But undergrad also has loan caps. Part of me is glad for this because I don't want our students to have to take out loans. The other half of me is like, how are we ever going to have a medical doctor? Because they're limited to $200,000. So I'm really struggling with how this is going to work. If you paid attention in the state of Indiana, for the public schools, the public IU, Purdue, Ivy Tech, Ball State, the legislator in Indiana came out and said, if you do not have a certain number, I think it was 15 students graduating on average over a 3-year period, you have to cut that program. In the state of Indiana, 408 programs were cut at the public schools because of that rule. They have not touched us yet as private schools, but we are anticipating they could since we take state dollars. We don't know. We're watching this. So, and the theory behind it is that they don't want public taxpayer dollars going to fund expensive programs with low enrollment. That's the thought process behind it. So we're monitoring that. Frank O'Bannon dollars are to help our neediest students in Indiana. A lot of our students get that. We have about 50% of our students that are high need, meaning they qualify for all of these dollars, Pell dollars, Frank O'Bannon dollars. And last year we found out in November that those would be cut dramatically this year. So Manchester filled the gap for our students. And we anticipate that we're going to have to continue to do this. This was for both our incoming and returning students. So we anticipate we'll have to continue to do this over the next few years because more students need that money. So the pot of money is the same, but more students are needing it. So we're monitoring that. And then the other rule that's coming out from the federal government is if you are in a program that you don't make as much money as a high school graduate after 5 years, they're saying that they could cut financial aid for that. If you cut financial aid for a program, you kind of kill it. And so we're monitoring this because we are concerned about a few of our programs. So, and they're basing it on the people that live in your state. So it will be state by state. So we're waiting for the rules. One of our cabinet members is Leon Litter. I think he's coming out to speak with you in maybe a month or two. We hired him to help with some other things, but he's an attorney, and it ends up that was a good decision when we hired him because all this legislative stuff came out about the same time we hired him. So he's been real helpful, and I'm grateful for him. We also, of course, use our attorney from Barnes & Thornburg, who's also a Manchester grad, Randy Brown, by the way, if anyone knows him. So the one thing I told the board is we are well positioned. With all of these legislative things that are happening, remember we're accepting students who got credit in high school. We're accepting early college credits. We're accepting Ivy Tech credits because a lot of our students in the state of Indiana get free college credits from Ivy Tech. So we accept those credits because they've worked hard while they're in high school for those. We have our 90 credit reduced program. We have experiential learning to help them pay their way through school. And then we're going to create more partnerships with companies to help our students so that they don't have to take out those loans if possible. And this was a picture of our 400 elementary school students who visited a couple weeks ago. I always like to take a picture of their backs because I don't like to put kids' pictures on the internet, but I still think it's a wonderful picture to see them. So what questions might you have for me?
I can bring the mic to you, and I do want to encourage you to ask one question until other people have an opportunity rather than asking a lot of questions back to back.
Has the push to do away with DEI affected the university?
Yes. But I would like to think that we're leaning into our mission statement, which means that we are respecting the infinite worth of all individuals. So that's what we're leaning into. I'll reload my pockets here. My keys, my phone.
Could you say a little more about the low enrollment programs? State funding could be cut about that? How does that work?
So the low enrolled programs, right now, the legislator has, and again, I always try to take a step back and think, what is this about? So the idea behind it was that they did not want, and again, this impacted the public institutions so far. They did not want state public taxpayer dollars going to fund low enrolled programs because, of course, if you have one faculty member and a small, an expensive faculty member and a small amount of students, that's a lot of money, right? And so that was the reason behind it. What we're trying to navigate through is, since we also take state funds through those Franco-Bannon dollars, could they come and say the same thing to us? We don't know. We hope not, because one of our things that we're thinking is, let's say English, for example, that typically has really low numbers. Maybe if IU can't have that degree anymore, they could come to Manchester and take it with us. Like, we're hoping that some of those students come to us because they aren't going to be able to go to a state school and get some of those majors. But across the state, it was 408 different majors. So like IU, they had to look at each IU satellite campus individually. Yeah, so they couldn't like add up English across all the, IU South Bend, IU Kokomo, IU Bloomington. They had to take them all individually, which hit hard. So I used to say all schools struggled with their budget except for like Notre Dame. But now I say all schools struggle, including Notre Dame. And it's true. Everybody's had to really look at their budgets. So I'm grateful for my Professor Gilbert accounting degree these days, for sure.
You indicated the retention rate of 70% for this year. I believe that's an improvement over the previous year. Can you affirm that?
Yes.
And also, what do you think is a realistic number that you could shoot for in that respect?
Yeah. I sure would like to do better than 70% because my struggle is this. If I went outside and my car only started 70% of the time, I would not like it very much. So that's my big struggle. But we know, any educators in the room, especially college faculty, we know that students drop out for a million reasons. And so my hope is that our online program will help with some of that. So let's say mom or dad is sick and they need to go home and be with mom or dad. Now, because of our online programs, they might be able to continue with Manchester. They may not be able to live at campus, but they might be able to continue to do their degree. So I'm really hoping some of that helps boost up those numbers. And cost remains the number one factor people drop out. So maybe that will help too, because we'll have a different charge for our online students than on campus.
Thank you.
That's a great, and by the way, you are right. It was 66% last year, and it's moved to 70%. So you guys are rock stars. You remember things that I can't even remember.
Have any DEI initiatives affected Manchester yet?
Yeah, it affected all schools. Yes, definitely. We are not allowed to have scholarships that are based on race or gender, but we're not allowed to have any admissions criteria. Now, here's the good news. Manchester's always wanted all students anyway. We've never narrowed our focus on a certain race or gender. So, but those scholarships were probably the biggest thing that impacted us. Because we had some people that said, I really want to lift up this group of students, and we cannot do that anymore. We cannot lift up, female accounting students only. We have to lift up all students. But the good news for us is we want to live into our mission, which is respecting everyone. So it has a little bit, but we're trying to do the best we can. It's not a Manchester thing, it's nationwide, and we're just following the law. So, yeah.
Are the dorms fairly full, or a lot of people wanting to live off campus?
Well, we have rules about these things, so most of them can't until they have a certain number of credits. So usually that means their senior year. And I think students want to stretch their wings a little bit by then. I did when I was a student, but my son is trying to convince me, but he's just going to be a junior, so he won't be probably doing that. But most of our students, majority of them still live on campus, because the other thing that's limiting in North Manchester is we don't have tons of places for students to live off campus, right? So a lot of them just live on campus. And as I remind Max, my son, often, do you really want to cook for yourself? I don't think he wants to. So, what other, oh. Right here.
You mentioned a Manchester Everywhere, Anywhere kind of program. Didn't specify any areas that it would be concentrating on for an all online degree, certificate. What are you considering?
So our soft launch, which will happen in January, February time, will be accounting and business. And then our hope is to continue just to roll out more and more programs. So I hope by fall we have a number of programs. We know education. We have some superintendents in the region that are asking us to do an online education degree because one of the target markets that they have is they have paraprofessionals who have worked in the school for many years. They're committed to kids, they're good with kids, but they've never become fully certified teachers. And the school districts would like to send some of those paras back to school. So that will be an area that we will really look to help them. I also hope that some of our lower enrolled programs, that an online program will help some of them. But our initial phase of our rollout with this is some market research, so we're leaning into our partner who's going to help us figure out which programs to launch first. Oh.
Do you have any plans for Swam Hall?
Oh, I wish I did. I keep trying. I walked through with an architect a couple months ago over the summer, like maybe June. I think it's too expensive. The ceilings are too low, so we have to fit HVAC in there. And I thought about doing apartments or condos, like studio apartments and some larger apartments. But we did some back of the napkin math, and the payoff would take us so long to pay for the renovations. The architect said it's probably not worth it. So I'm super sad. I have turned our plans over to one more group of people who had an idea for them. So I'm waiting to hear what they say. But I know it's breaking my heart because it's all brick, it's beautiful, but it needs a lot of love. It needs a lot of love. So yeah, we're working on it. I keep trying to get creative, but I'm not a creative sort, so I keep asking for help, and so far, no luck. But it'll probably cost us close to $1 million to tear it down. So that's another thing. It's not going anywhere right now. Because we know we'll have to do some asbestos removal and things like that in there. So.
Any other questions? On the table where you came in is a list of coming programs. We're still working on some for the spring, but these programs through February are listed back here. So please pick up one of those little flyers for future programs. Bud, did you want to ask a question?
Well, it's more of a comment. I am proud of Manchester for the work it does with first time from family
Yes.
college students.
Me too.
We're up in the 20
some percent?
Oh, it's like 50% of our students. Well, I should say, our incoming class was like 50% of our students were first gen. That means first people in their
Yeah,
family
first
to go to
people in their
college.
family.
Right, but it's like overall, I think it's close to 30%.
Yeah, and
Me
I'm just
too.
excited that
Me
we're
too.
doing that kind of thing for families that never experienced college before.
Yep.
And now are getting an experience at Manchester that I think is a positive experience for them and the communities around.
Yes, for sure. Great point. I'm glad you brought that up. I should have that up here when I do my report, but it was true when I was a student, and I think it obviously continues to be.
Right.
So, yeah, great point.
Why is that such a good thing? I mean, I know it's a good thing. Why is it working so well?
I think it's because, I mean, this is where being small, I think, helps, because they get that one-on-one attention. I mean, everything from their visit, most of our visits that we do with families are, usually the parents and the student. And so you get to do a personalized tour. They sit down and talk to you about financial aid. Everything is personalized. I think we do a really good job of walking people through the process. At a large school, you're kind of a number. But at Manchester, we're going to know you, we're going to know your family, and I think that helps. You get to sit down with a faculty member on that first visit. Sit down with your coach, because a lot of our students about 60% of our students are athletes. So sitting down with a coach, so the families all know all of these people from that first visit. I think that's part of it. Just we have amazing people shepherding them through the process. So.
Thank you so much, Stacy,
Thank
and we
you.
look forward to hearing from you at the beginning of each academic year.
Just make sure it's right after that board meeting, and we're great.
Thank you.
Thank you.